my presentation. Here we go, and I can start sharing my screen. And here we go, share screen. Perfect. Fantastic. So what we will hope to do is really save as much of the questions. As Stuart is talking, if you come up with a question, please go ahead, just type it. Any questions as we are talking, so that we will go through some of the questions as we are, so we can pick some of those questions once we finish the presentation. So as for those who've just joined, so welcome. So what we are going to cover today, hopefully, is going to be really how to create that digital footprint. Stuart, I would love to give you a couple of minutes for those who don't know you, to introduce yourself. That would be great.
Hi, Natalia. How are you doing?
Great.
Super. On camera now. So hopefully you guys can see me clearly. Good morning and hello from Dublin in Ireland. Everybody who's watching, maybe you can put in the chat where you're watching from, because as I talk through this, I hope I can make it contextual to your geography and your region. My name is Stuart Somkange, proudly from Zimbabwe, living currently in Ireland, but servicing the African market. I'll be talking to you today as a LinkedIn Rock Your Profile ambassador and telling you a little bit more about that. My objective is to help you, to empower you, to inspire you, based on my experiences of using LinkedIn. And we've got Natalia to thank, so there she is in my backdrop. If you can, if you're watching, in the chat, say where you're watching from, and let's give Natalia some love.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you. Just a quick introduction on myself. My full name actually is Natalia Zahra Polishchouk Mohammed. I didn't choose any of them, but I embrace all. I'm half Somali, half Ukrainian, and I've had a very interesting, blessed life in terms of exposure globally. I get put under the bracket of HR, but really what I consider myself is a headhunter. So over the last 15, 16 years now, I think, I have interviewed at least 18,000 people, hired more than 1,500 across 70 countries. So when it comes to recruitment, mapping your career, planning your career, managing your career, this is where really I come in. I run an organization called JstWork. JstWork has a missing U because we are looking for you. We can't spell success without you. We launched in 2017. We are about a team of 8, and what we do is my day job is really headhunting and recruitment. That's what I love doing. But we have a really big program on the career development. And after Stuart's presentation, I will give you a little bit of a feel what we do here at JstWork. So let me just go ahead and really, I have been talking about a lot of the trends in the future of work before Corona started. And I just feel that what Corona has done is literally put the foot on the accelerator. Pre-Corona, I was saying that one of the fastest global trend growing at over 1,000% is home working. Big organizations like Cisco, like Oracle, like your IBMs, etc., are already doing a lot of that, working from home, etc. But the actual job market has shifted substantially. And right now, a lot of businesses are going out. We don't know how long we are going to be, there could potentially be a lot of job insecurity. So the reason I've set up this event is really to get people to start thinking how critical it is to create a digital footprint. And for those of you who know me, I'm not a fan of the CV. You'll hear me say this a few times. So LinkedIn is where we will do it, and hence why we brought in Stuart Somkange really to support us. So I'm going to take just a few minutes to give you some idea of the shifts in terms of what is happening. So the first thing is even pre-Corona, the type of contracts we are getting, not just your permanent pensionable. Even over the last 10 years, we've seen a lot more freelancers, contractors, home workers, fixed term, etc. So the type of contracts that we are getting today are no longer that permanent, etc. Now, the length of service, on average, you see, if you worked for 20 years ago, it was really important that you stayed in one company for a very long time because that showed that you were loyal, reliable, dependable. Whereas today, that's no longer the same. So length of service, even if you add the gig economy, that can take anything from 3 months, 6 months to 9 months. But on average, we've changed also how long we stay in one role in one company. Then we have technology, and really Monster in terms of job boards fundamentally shifted the recruitment industry. It sounds like a wonderful solution. You post a job, clients come, individuals come and apply, and you then select. But a lot of job boards basically use application tracking tools, including LinkedIn. So when you click and apply, hundreds of people have applied, and recruitment and individuals in the recruitment space do not have the time to read all of them. So this is where application tracking tools have come in. And I'll talk a little bit about that, because we've tested, we have an in-house tool that gets you to digitize your profile, keyword digitized, so that anytime somebody is searching for your skill set, you appear right at the top. And then, of course, for me, LinkedIn has shifted, especially over the last 5 years. I can't explain how much I learn on LinkedIn by following the right influencers. All of the text that I share in my webinars are things that I've actually learned from following the right influencers, etc. So LinkedIn is it's no longer just a place where you dump your CV. It's a place you interact, you learn, and you build that e-program. Now, I've put this slide here to really highlight that over the next 3 to 10 years, there will be so many jobs. 65% of children born today will do jobs that don't even exist. We have so many new trends that are happening. Now, this slide is not comprehensive. It's just to give you an initial idea. And what I want to say in this slide is this: the higher the demand, the lower the supply, the higher your price elasticity. The lawyers that 1 year after Facebook was created thought, aha, your photograph will no longer sit at home on a mantelpiece, and started to get to know more data privacy, data protection. Actually, I remember searching for somebody for data privacy, and it was really difficult. The salaries that we paid for such little experience was phenomenal. So this slide is to say that the higher the demand in skills, the lower the supply, the higher your price elasticity. And over the next 5 years, as I said, so many jobs are going out and so many are coming in. And if we just look at a couple of pointers here, 3D printing. 3D printing, whatever you put in it, it prints. It can print human tissues, skin grafts. I can literally put sand in it and it will print whatever I scan. With it, I can scan the table that this laptop is sitting on right now, print, and it'll do it automatically. So innovation will change. The way 3D printing will, imagine a plastic bottle right now. I can put plastic, it'll print me plastic bottles. So I no longer need the whole manufacturing of where I melt it, where I do, etc. Drones are even changing the way we fight wars. With 5G coming ahead, your location is no longer as important. Military is shifting and changing. Security, anything to do with cybersecurity. Tesla is only producing self-driving cars. So I'm not going to stay too long on this, but the idea is this: whatever set of skills you have right now, you need to start upskilling yourself, combining, because everything is shifting and the set of skills we are looking for are shifting. I'm just going to leave this slide and just move to the next one. This is again to show you we've got new industries. Technology is disrupting everything. From prop tech, biotech, fintech is really big here in Kenya and in Africa, agri-tech. So the idea is to start looking at also new industries and looking at the set of skills that they're looking for, and really continue to build and learn. Here are just some of the jobs that will disappear. This is just, I'm not going to go into all of them. One of the roles that I've not put on here is, for example, acting. If we think about it, we watch a lot more reality TV. There is animation. So actors no longer have that as they were as powerful 20 years ago. Some of these we can see, like 3D, like printers and publishers. We can see some of these are going out, but anything that requires humans to manage it, like driving, there'll be self-driving cars. Farmers, you will have self-driving tractors, drones to go around, etc. These are the jobs that are going to be upcoming. Somebody needs to fix these robots. Somebody needs to upload and fly the drones. So not just robot manufacturers, but service managers, big data, AI. artificial body manufacturers. You're thinking, what? It's already happening. If your hips don't work, you get hip replacement. If, you know, we are now mixing a lot of technology into our bodies, we live longer. Therefore, there's a lot of things that are happening in that field. Designer babies, virtual world. This is, again, going to be pretty big. For me, esport, I didn't realize until I started to do my research, but I found out that if you combine all of Hollywood and all the music industry, the gaming industry still makes more money. So esports, again, as I said, these are just a few points. I'm not going to linger, but just to give you ideas what other jobs are coming. Now, I'm going to hand over after this slide to Stuart. But I want to really get people to understand, what does personal branding mean? Personal branding is an ongoing process. That ongoing means it doesn't have a beginning, it doesn't have a middle, or it doesn't have an end. It is an ongoing process of establishing a prescribed image or impression in the mind of others. So whether you are conscious of it or not, it's happening. Whether you are intentional about it or not, it's happening. So personal branding is basically what others think of you. What you cannot do is control what others think, but you are your storyteller, you are your orator. So what story do you tell to manage that perception in the mind of others? Stuart, over to you.
Thank you, Natalia. Really good and comprehensive background in terms of some of the fantastic work you're doing with candidates. Thank you for taking them the extra mile and for helping with coaching with those who don't know where to start and why it matters. But in this session, what I'm going to do, as I promised, is I'm going to give an outline of some of the things that I've personally experienced, some of the things that have worked in my career. My profile will be up for people to look at, so I'm making myself vulnerable. I'm going to switch off my camera so that I can go to full screen and we can start the presentation. And as I mentioned, it's going to be predominantly a lot of information to take in. The reason why I've put it in is so that you can watch this later and you can go through it in much more detail. But right now, I just really want to focus on some of the key priorities. The topic for today is, of course, your digital footprint and why it matters on LinkedIn. But I wanted to have a call to action so that at the end of this, I give you something functional that you can go and do that will help you, whether you're a job seeker, a professional looking to change career, whether you are anticipating changes coming, or you've been impacted by the current pandemic and now your hours have been reduced, or you're working from home and need to learn new skill sets. So I will give you some action items. I'll give you some learning. So stay on, because right at the end of this, I'm going to give out a phenomenal giveaway, which is learning. So there it is. Let's get started and let's go through it. In terms of what we're going to go through today, I wanted us first of all to establish a level playing field of our understanding of what LinkedIn can do and what LinkedIn is. We will then take our journey into what are the critical things that you should have on your profile that will help your profile stand out and for your profile to be found by hiring managers, recruiters, and other people that you might be looking to network, coach, or learn from. I'll teach you how to build and use your network, as I've done for myself. And then if you are specifically a job seeker, there's a couple of tips that I've got specially stored for you in terms of how you begin that journey. As I said at the beginning, my hope and my anticipation and my reason for being on this is that I believe a philosophy called each one, teach one, which means if you're watching this, if you have a brother, a sister, a cousin, a nephew, a fellow professional that has been struggling with the same thing, knowledge, share to become better professionals on this global platform. It's a global platform that's established. I thank you for being members on the platform, because as a member, we are then achieving our vision, which is helping you get access to new economic opportunities. Opportunities could be opportunities to learn, to network, to grow, to find a job. Those are some of the opportunities that we want to make available for you. But in terms of understanding LinkedIn, I thought it would be important for us to understand holistically how big this platform is. This platform currently has 690 million members. And that's why your digital footprint or your unique value proposition, or as Natalia said, your personal brand must speak volumes for you when you're not in the room. Another number that usually gets me to understand why I should be intentional and why I should be focused on my activities on LinkedIn to help build my professional journey and to align it to my goals is knowing that every single second, 3 new members are joining. That makes it a busy environment. An environment where you can go in and research organizations, find jobs, understand what are the critical skills, understand who is building those critical skills, and nevertheless, who is sharing the thought leadership around those particular topics. So use LinkedIn as a great place for you to learn, to grow, to research, and build your knowledge of what are the trending topics, the trending skills, and the trending business challenges that people are facing. So in terms of what your profile can do for you, this is really basic, so I will speed up in terms of how I will address this. But ultimately, when you're building out a great profile, there's a couple of things that you want to achieve. One of them is to have meaningful connections, and we'll talk about that as we go through this. I'll talk to the learning capabilities that you can find within LinkedIn, and then also learning capabilities that come from your natural curiosity and your thirst to grow as a professional. I'll try and give you some tips on how you can network by joining groups and following influencers and following people that are associated within your industry. We'll talk about sanitizing your LinkedIn network so that you have connections that will give you a great experience on the platform. If you're not opening up your LinkedIn every morning to check what are the industry news, the trends, the jobs, the people to connect with, one of the things that you must realize is that the people you connect, the companies you follow, the groups you're in, ultimately lead to your user experience being fantastic. So one of the things we'll do after this is look at who are we connected to? Are they in our industry? Are they within our career aspirations and verticals and goals? Can we leverage them for endorsements and recommendations? Or should we be looking to expand beyond the people we know? So we'll talk more in detail about that. And of course, lastly, as everybody knows, LinkedIn is a fantastic place to find jobs, as we've already highlighted some of those. The first thing I would recommend is that look at LinkedIn like a beautiful vehicle. Picture that car that you've always wanted. Picture the wheels, the leather interior. Picture the sound system if that's what you prefer. But what you will find is, as you start your journey in that beautiful vehicle, you will spend time adjusting the seat to your comfort, making sure the mirrors are perfect so that you can get full 360-degree view. You will change the sound settings to suit the type of music you're listening to. Likewise, with LinkedIn, the very first place I urge you to spend time on is looking at your privacy settings. Because as we edit our profiles, there's going to be certain things we'll want to notify our network on, and certain things we'll want to hold back a little bit. And likewise, LinkedIn is all about you, the member. So with that in mind, you have full control on what people can see about you, your photograph, your work experience, your volunteer experience, the type of language, your passwords, and all other things associated with your experience. So start right there by first looking at the settings, making sure that your contact details are clearly outlined, and that you're showing people what you want them to see. So start with your privacy settings. Nice, simple one there. Moving right along, as Natalia started off with, let's clarify the difference between our LinkedIn profile and a resume. I tend to think of my LinkedIn profile as my digital billboard. This is the billboard that showcases the short, succinct, successful aspirations and passions and purpose that I have as a professional. A resume tends to be a bit more detailed, tends to be more filled in with factual details about the skills, the education that I've had and the certifications. But my LinkedIn profile enhances that because I get to share my skills and people get to endorse those skills, which validate the skills that I have. I get to expand and share the types of projects I've engaged on and the impact I've brought. It also allows other professionals that I interact with to endorse me, to recommend me, to learn, to contact me, and to give me access to new economic opportunities. So within LinkedIn, we do allow you to attach your resume. So if you have a formal resume that you've created or you've had people like Natalia and JstWork help you, great, attach that. But let your LinkedIn profile be a story about your career journey, who you are, what you do, and why it matters. This is the one place where we can talk about our aspirations and we can put our best face forward. And what's more, knowing that we're moving into a global world, here we have the opportunity to tell our story with rich media, using videos and graphics and subtitles so that those who don't speak our language can understand, those who are deaf and hard of hearing can also understand. The very first thing to start off with on your LinkedIn profile is where people first get to interact with you. You all have mobile devices. That's probably the first time you interact with LinkedIn and you start searching for people. So if it is the first thing that we reach out to in terms of finding people, let's think about what people get as a feeling when they go to our profile. First of all, they're human. We're perceptive. We're stimulated by images. So is your photograph warm? Is your photograph welcoming? And does it focus on your face? Because here's the thing, if people are seeing us using mobile devices, then naturally it means the landscape or the real estate that we have is very limited. So it only pays us to zoom in. Those photographs where we're standing at a podium, those photographs standing by our desk, sitting by our desk, don't really help us. Let people recognize us. And when they have recognized us, let's also use that back landscape on your LinkedIn profile to put in an image. One of the things I've seen is that most people have amazing profiles, but you're not digitally stimulating your audience. LinkedIn allows you, as you can see with the little pencil sign, allows you to edit your profile and add in a graphic at the back that helps tell your story. This is prime real estate. Ask yourself, with Natalia's profile, you can see what she does. You got two great photographs that show you a little bit of her personality. On mine, I've chosen to use books. There's a story behind that, but I want to leave that story to your imagination so that you can see the impact of images. What do you think of when you see books? Weathered books, books with no titles. I'll leave that to your imagination. Also quite important is, of course, your headline. As you can see, Natalia has gone and personalized it and said she's the managing director and that her specialization is around being an executive headhunter and also a professional career coach. That's important that you personalize it. If you don't personalize it, LinkedIn picks up your existing job title and puts it there. That can be fantastic if you're in the market for a formal job and you want to make sure that the algorithms pick up the job title that you're currently holding or that you're moving on from. What you could also use it to do if you're an entrepreneur is to tell your story. This is not to say if you're a student, type in the words looking for an opportunity, looking for employment. Rather, Use it to tell the story of the aspirational role, the specialist skills, the experience, or the passion that you have for the industry you're trying to get into. We'll talk more about hashtags. As you can see, I've personalized and used a hashtag on mine. It's important that you make sure that your profile outlines the industry that you're in, because this will get you more profile views as more and more people are searching for people by industry. So make sure that your industry, likewise, your location is correct. Here on location, I want to make a special mention because a lot of people will put in the aspirational location they would like to go work in. This obviously precludes you from other opportunities within your own region. So put in the right location. Guess what? Recruiters will be looking for remote workers in Nairobi, in Uganda, in Ethiopia to do work for global companies. So make sure your location and your industry are absolutely correct. Next, you need to draft a compelling summary. This is the part where you tell your elevator pitch story, what you do, who you are, and why, what impact you bring. There's a couple of suggestions that I've put up here. Look at other people's profiles, maybe borrow a word or two, but ultimately, you want your LinkedIn profile to be authentic. Have a look at a couple of people's profiles and see how they have told their story in terms of what they do. One thing I would say here is try and stay away from bullet points unless you're pointing out factual things. And then, of course, try and make it a narrative. Assume you're meeting your best friend. Assume you're meeting an executive. Assume you're meeting someone that could be an investor in your business and tell that story. Detailing your work experience. You know how to do that, but I'll tell you a couple of tips. First of all, let's not put in our job descriptions. Let's first of all outline who we worked for, because not everyone knows the company that you've worked for. Secondly, let's outline what work we did in that organization. And thirdly, let's outline the impact that we brought. You also have the opportunity to attach videos, to attach slides, to attach images. As long as none of these are confidential, you'll be able to attach them to your work experience. So go and look on YouTube, go and look on Facebook, go look on the web and see what great videos your organization has done and see if they're succinct enough, because to be honest, a video that's more than 3 minutes or 2 minutes, 30 seconds, that can be too long. So find a good showcase reel about your organization and prepare to tell your story of what your contribution was to that organization or what people see in that video. This is a fantastic medium for reaching the deaf, hard of hearing, and those who speak English as a second language. So if you're an entrepreneur, think about the possibilities here of showcasing what your company does, showcasing who your target audience is, and showcasing the impact that you bring. This is fantastic because it means every time you meet a potential investor, sponsor, partner, you have the opportunity to showcase your organization. You don't have to drag out a laptop. You don't have to drag out a PowerPoint, but you will have your LinkedIn profile with you on your phone, and chances are the professional you're meeting will have his as well. Let's move on to building your professional network. Building your professional network pays. Up to 50% plus of the recent hires that we polled came as a result of personal connections. So it pays for you as a professional to intentionally look to grow your network with people that are in your industry. Professionals, family, friends, people that you meet in conferences and webinars like this. LinkedIn also has automated this to make it a little bit easier for you. So what you'll see once you go into your connections is people that you may know. This is an algorithm that looks at people that are in certain industries that might be closely associated with you or know other people that you know. So have a look at that. It's not a popularity contest. This is your professional network. If you follow a certain number of people that are influencers or people within your industry, your news feed is going to improve and the content you will consume will be so much richer. So if there are people we've connected with in the past, we can remove these without them actually knowing, or we can add new connections. So as you read things on LinkedIn, who's posting it? Are they in your industry? Are you connected? And of course, how do we reach out to them? I'm going to take a pause right there, Natalia, and ask if we've got any questions thus far.
Let me unmute myself so far. Yeah. So far, I haven't seen any specific questions, but I think you are really taking it at a good pace and going through. So I think we are still okay.
Superb. All right, we go well over. I see 253 people. Wow, no pressure. All right, guys. I ended off by talking about building your professional network. And I wanted to share some super power tips here. So listen in. One thing you should do when you're looking to grow your network is reach out to people by personalizing the message and the intention behind why you want to connect. You might want to refer to an article, a post, or a comment that someone has made, and then expound on it by saying that I'm looking to connect, to learn, to network, to share ideas, best practices, and experiences with you because I'm in the same industry or in the same geography. This gives a wealth of credibility if you're looking to connect with people that might be your seniors, your peers, or leaders. So make it a personalized message on why you're reaching out and where you can offer to help them. Again, put that in. I'm not asking you to sell, because that's one of the things that most of us don't like, is that immediately after you connect with someone, they try and sell you something. Build a relationship, get to understand the content, interact with what they're posting, understand their tone, and only then should you then start exploring opportunities to do business together. As I've talked about, invest time in your social media presence. This is the only professional platform where you get to tell that story. So put time into it weekly. Break time into small time slots so that you can address different parts of your objectives one at a time. And like I said, join groups. This is a great place to learn. This is a great place to test your ideas with fellow professionals and get advice and get insights. So go in with a growth mindset where you may be sharing to teach, but ultimately you're looking to learn as a student. So moving on, in terms of enriching and using your network, once we do have a connection with someone, we have the opportunity to reach out to them and engage them along the aspirations that we have. So ask for what we call informational interviews. Gain access to your network by asking them advice that can help you with your career journey. Learn about their culture at that organization, even if they're not hiring today. Learn about the industry, the processes, whatever is not confidential. Learn about them so that when opportunities come, you're able to align your personal brand with their professional brand. So use and leverage your network to understand the organizations that you'd like to work in well in advance. LinkedIn members who reach out to connections are 4 times likely to get hired when they have been referred. So when a job appears and you look and see within your network who works in that organization, you can reach out, again, personalizing the message to ask for a referral. Personalize the message. Why you think you're the best fit. That person might not be a recruiter, might not even be the hiring manager, But if they understand what is your personal motivation to join our organization, then they're more likely to refer you. And the data has shown us that if you get a referral from someone within the business, you're 4 times more likely to get hired. Have you been using your network to gain access to opportunities? Another way, and I look at this as extra credit. So if you want to go the extra mile and you've attended a university or an institution and you've clearly associated your profile with that institution, then what will happen is that if that institution has the LinkedIn alumni feature, you'll be able to reach out and connect with the alumni. Who are they? Where do they work? How long have they been in those roles? What did they study within your university? Perhaps these could be common areas for you to start a conversation with your alumni. I've personally worked at Microsoft, Oracle, SAP, and IBM. And oftentimes I use the alumni to find out about opportunities to partner, to network, to learn, and to relearn. So are you using your alumni? Another great and extra credit thing to do is to join groups. There are well over 2.9 million groups on LinkedIn for professionals like yourself, based on specific demographics, with specific rules for who joins those groups. So join the groups to understand the tone of language, what type of information people share. And once you've understood that, start learning, engaging, sharing, asking. And remember, it's just your point of view. Be respectful of other members. Manners maketh a man, they say. But this will give you extra access to professionals that can help grow your career as a professional. We're getting close to the sweet spot. One of the things that you can do as an individual to grow your network and to grow your presence as a leader on LinkedIn, because each one of us is born with a talent and has acquired skills and has had experiences that can define us as leaders. So take thought leadership as one of those things that you're going to have in your toolbox. How do you do this? Well, LinkedIn gives you 2 opportunities. You have the opportunity to share updates. These are the things that we tend to see on our news feeds. What's happening? It's got hashtags on it. It's got images that grab our attention. It is a busy environment. So think about taking on a photography course just to understand how you can better framework your images. The human mind processes images 60,000 times faster than text. So if you got great photography skills, or have been intentional at every conference you attend, or when a project has ended, or a meeting with a client, wherever you are able to curate digital content and collect it, the day you need to send out a post, you will have a great image to go with it. The second part is publishing. And I'll get into a little bit more details about publishing as it's a superpower. This is an example of a post based on your authentic voice. If you must quote someone, use the @ and give them credit. Again, let's make sure that the content we're sharing is educational. That's the number one thing to do on the platform, is to share with something that will help somebody else learn from what you have seen or experienced. The thing is, as we share, we will start seeing the people that interact with our content. We'll start seeing if they're within our network, and we'll start seeing the job titles and the business titles that they carry. This will start helping us form our own personal content strategies in terms of what content am I really good at, or what content my audience wants to hear, and how they want to receive it. Give people an opportunity to share their point of view. So as you share, ask a question, engage your audience, Because by driving engagement, you'll find that your post will have a longer shelf life on LinkedIn. Because people, as they engage with it, it will resurface and will be distributed to more networks. So here's a task for you. I've covered a couple of points already. If you're great at multitasking, grab that phone and share a message that has resonated with you. Or if not, save it until the end of the session. Natalia, before I move into articles, are there any questions that are pressing at this moment?
No, I think the questions are really how do I bring in more traffic? And I think you are covering that here through being the thought leadership. So far, so good.
Superb. Now, superpower time, extra credit time, time to listen in. One of the most powerful things you can do for yourself by using LinkedIn is to write long form articles. Long form articles remain with your profile. Long form articles will help you socialize a conversation with a stranger. As they say, what do you do? What does your company do? Why does that matter? Who's your audience? You can quickly turn on that phone or ask them to turn on their phone, connect first on LinkedIn, and then go to that article of yours and say, here's a short article I wrote about the particular question you're asking. Here's the interaction that came from it. So how do you do that? First of all, have a photograph that grabs attention. The average person goes through a mile of content in terms of scrolling every day. You want to make sure that your photograph makes them stop. Using stock images or photographs off the internet, you could do that, but I tend to find the more authentic photographs that possibly have you in the picture are best to have because it personalizes it. You want people to get a feeling of what you're passionate about, what your experience is, and why, or how you feel about that particular topic. So include a photograph. Be authentic. Avoid too much cut and paste. Think about your audience and make that article succinct. And of course, as you know, the shorter it is, the more likely people will read it. And of course, the more likely they will reshare it with other people. If you must refer to a piece of research, give the URL so that the user can go on and discover more. But give your short topical perspective of what you think about a certain topic. Now let's speak to the job seekers. A lot of you have been on the stream waiting to find out how you can get superpowers to help you get that new job. There are well over 31 million people on LinkedIn that are job seekers. So what are the best practices and how are people advancing their careers? Well, the first thing is looking at our networks intentionally. Who are our clients, former colleagues, leaders, faculty heads, professors, deans? Who have we worked with? Are we interacting with their content? Are we connected? And are those people endorsing us or giving us recommendations? Are you as a professional staying up to date with industry news and trends? My encouragement is for you, every time you purpose to go into a meeting, as you prepare, look up the hashtag that's associated with your industry, the process or the practice that you're going to be talking about, so that you may share with your prospect a different perspective. You might want to also look up the people that you're looking to meet. I say to be respectful, I do this at least 3 to 5 days in advance. Doing it an hour or 30 minutes before the meeting kind of looks creepy, as the other person gets to see you've just been snooping on their profile. So look and do the research about the organization, the industry, the trends, and then ultimately the person that you're looking to meet with, because they're doing the same when you request meetings. So let's ensure that we're sharing professional content. not only on LinkedIn. We're sharing professional content on Twitter, ranting and raving to service providers. I'll give an illustration: KPLC, Safaricom, Equity, whatever the institution is. Be mindful of the language that you use when you're upset, because recruiters do Google us. They look not only at your LinkedIn profile, which they know you're going to put your best face forward, but they look to see our other social media accounts. It's only human. Their credibility is at stake when they're putting you in front of the board or a hiring manager. So how we behave in terms of a digital footprint should be consistent across all platforms. You do have the opportunity to bring your personal side to it. I personally have a YouTube account, which I encourage you to go to the channel and subscribe. I have LinkedIn, I have Twitter, and then also I have an Instagram account, which tends to show the personal side beyond my professional side. This gives hiring managers, recruiters, a holistic view of me. My LinkedIn profile features my volunteer experience, so they understand the things I'm passionate about and the things that I care about well and over beyond the job. So what feeling are you giving people on your digital networks? Topics to avoid. Personally, I've found with my Twitter, I'm not complaining about service providers unless I'm polite. I am not posting on religion, politics, sport, health, as these topics tend to be controversial. The beauty with LinkedIn is that if you find that you have posted something and it's leading not the way you want it to go, I would limit yourself to posting, getting someone to respond, and then explaining why you posted the way you posted or your understanding of a certain topic, and then leave it at that. If the person is abusive, like I said, LinkedIn is about you as a member. So feel free to block them or report them, and then that person will no longer see your content. So these are some of the pro tips in terms of what I've seen other people do. From a functional, practical side, here's what you can do. So first of all, let's stop typing that we're looking for opportunities, we're hunting for jobs, or you're currently unemployed. Let's do that where LinkedIn has given that capability. So in your privacy settings, under career interests, you can go in and let recruiters know that you're open for opportunities. This does not guarantee that you get employment, but what it will do is that it will let recruiters know that you're in the marketplace. You will stand out in searches as they're looking for people that might be to fill an urgent need. You will receive more opportunities because you have said you're available to work remotely, you're available for volunteer activities, you're available for internships, you're available for pro bono, you're available to sit on boards, you're available for full-time work. The opportunities are there. Let's go in and configure our privacy settings to ensure that we're telling recruiters what we're all about and what we're looking for. We also give you the opportunity to specify if you're in the market, kind of thinking about it, open to discussions, but probably not job hunting. You make up 70% of the audience on LinkedIn. You are called passive candidates. But with that, you have an opportunity to say, I'm gainfully employed, I'm currently not looking, I would be interested in a conversation, but I'll be interested in a conversation where these titles are the ones that you are proposing. That lets recruiters know whether not to waste their time or to contact you. And again, if you've invested in LinkedIn Premium, as you can see on that image, it will start giving you learning that will help you in terms of getting ready for jobs and for interviews. The other thing that you can do in terms of searching and applying for jobs is to start looking at the best recommendations that are out there. This will be based on an algorithm on the skills that you've said you've had, the work experience that you've said, and the location information that you have said you're keen to work on. So Make sure you've set those things up so that you can get better recommendations on jobs that you might be interested in. Natalia talked earlier on about helping people building their profiles. One of the things that a lot of people struggle with is putting in things like keywords, terms that are related to your industry, related to a practice, a specialization, a skill, or an experience that you have that the market is looking for. So reach out to people like Natalia and JstWorks, or take the time to investigate what are the keywords that are being used in the job descriptions. What can I learn from them? Remember, we need to be authentic. I've put up a couple of criteria that recruiters use when they're searching for people. So make sure that your profile is aligned to some of those subject matter areas, sorry. So here's another pro tip for you guys as we are getting close to ending the session. Use the easy apply. The easy apply button literally makes it easier for you to apply for a job. And here's what we found. Applicants who apply for jobs within the first 3 days of posting are 13 times more likely to get the job. So if you're mindful and you know that you have the right skills and experiences that they're looking for, hit that easy apply button and LinkedIn will pick up from your profile, your details, and make it easier for you to apply. It's a great way to apply for jobs. So definitely make sure to use this as you search and apply for opportunities. As I mentioned earlier on, follow companies. Because when you follow companies, one of the things you'll find is that the content from those organizations will start coming to your feed. Recruiters and hiring managers look at which companies you're following to understand your career aspirations, to understand who you're learning from. The other thing you can do when you go to follow a company, a great company, you will find that one of the tabs that is highlighted here on the left is the Life tab. This is where you go to see a little bit more about the office environment, the office culture, the values, what the people at that organization look like, what the workspace looks like, what type of clients they have. Organizations that are partnered with LinkedIn are providing you insights into those organizations. So as you apply, why don't you take some time to look at the live section of that organization so that you can ask meaningful questions that can be related to something you've seen them showcase. We're getting to the tail end of this, and as I promised, I'm going to share some learning. Why is it important for us to learn? It's important for us to learn so that we can develop as individuals and as human beings. In preparation for this particular webinar, I looked at the most in-demand skills that organizations were hiring for in the year 2019. These are often skills that most of us take for granted, but it's important that you acquire these skills, add them to your LinkedIn profile, and share with your network. Because here's the fantastic thing with LinkedIn Learning is that as you share with your network, certain content, as you share it, will be made free for your audience. So you're helping people. I talked about leading with education. Again, as we acquire these skills and we put them onto our profiles, it helps us align the recruiter search, the hiring manager profile inspection, with some of the skills that might not be covered by the broad-based title we have on our business degree, or technology degree, or our creativity degree. By taking on these small, rich media video courses and putting them to your profile, it just means the algorithms will pick up those keywords, and it'll give us an opportunity to show that after I finished university, I still invested in myself and I went and acquired these new age skills that people are looking for. So the content I'm going to give you folks is going to be free, but just to spend a few seconds telling you that the platform has more content beyond what I'm going to make available for free. It'll be a platform where you'll be able to take this content offline. I know some of you are struggling with data bundles as we go through this environment. So if you can connect up to a Wi-Fi for a short minute, you'll be able to download some of these courses, which will help you build your resume, which will help you manage your finances if you're running a business, which will help you learn how to share content with video. This content is on LinkedIn, and much more is available from a technology, creative, and also from a business perspective. So what are the courses that I'm sharing with you exclusively on this stream? 275 courses have been made free. And as I said before, some of these courses address professionals who want to remain productive and efficient during this remote working period. Maybe you've never been on Zoom, you've never been on Skype, you've never been on Microsoft Teams, and you need to know how to run a successful meeting. Some of these courses will speak to us at our very core as human beings, managing resilience, managing the stress of looking for a job, building up that mindfulness that will make us better partners, better husbands, better fathers, better investors. Some of these courses will speak to you if you've been in learning and development and you're an educator and suddenly you've found that you can't do classroom training and now you want to deliver that content electronically. We are helping you start that. And if you're currently have been put out of a job and you're looking to create a new online shift, as Natalia called it, and you now want to share what you're best at by doing video, we teach you how to do that. New economies are coming up. Let's open our minds in terms of the opportunities that are out there. Let's start sharing what we know best. Yes, you're a banker, but you bake amazing cakes. Are you showcasing that talent? Because that could be the one talent or the one economic line that carries you over during this period. And if you're a salesperson and you're thinking to leverage these platforms like LinkedIn in terms of learning or preparing to engage with your audience virtually, there are ways and techniques that speak to emotional intelligence, social awareness of how to sell without selling, by educating, by engaging, inspiring. There's several courses that will be made available and we'll share these links with you. My only ask of you is for you to then share these links with your family, your friends, your colleagues. Each one teach one Africa. It's our opportunity to shine. We can only shine when we empower other people. We can only shine when we grow people to take over the roles that we're doing so that we may be promoted. Let's invest in ourselves. I've shared quite a lot with you. So here's my takeaway in terms of what I would do if I was in your situation. First of all, have a look at your profile and understand the story you're telling and if it's telling the right story that you want people to be understanding and reading. Leverage your network. Automate your job search. Acquire the new skills that are required in order for you to be successful. Beyond that, there's room for learning on the platform. Go in with a growth mindset. Look to learn and look to share and empower the next person. It's time to shine, and I hand it back to Natalia so that she can take us through our Q&A session if we got time.
Absolutely, absolutely. Could you allow me to share the screen? What I would like to do is just, I know we are running a little bit short on time. What I really would like to do is just also give a bit of a feel of what can we do to help. Now, I just want to start by saying that, first of all, Stuart, thank you so much. That was phenomenal. Really clear. I'm really looking forward to sharing the recording with everybody afterwards. We'll put it online so that people can access it. I want to start by saying that if you are a senior individual, you should not be managing your career with a CV. The reason being is this: it lives inside your laptop. So it is reactive. You are going to pull it out and click and apply. LinkedIn, as Stuart said, is literally a global platform, but it's not a place where you just dump your CV. Apart from getting it digitized, by writing articles, by actually giving value. Everybody is looking to absorb content. We all go to learn, but none of us actually take the time to put our skills out there. So where possible, I genuinely recommend no CV, and you can actually download your LinkedIn and it automatically becomes a very well laid out CV. As Stuart said, you can use infographic, you can use so many different other actual platforms and tools. I want to show you a couple of things. This is one of the individual that we worked on to do her LinkedIn. Whatever Stuart has actually said, we take you through the whole process step by step. And I want to share with you that it is not just your website, the color, the images. You can go into Canva and create your own image. But it's so important that you have a picture that demonstrates. But also, I just want to show that the about is such an important element to start creating your personal brand. And I'm just going to read the first sentence that we supported in Mercy creating. It says, I could have been a medical statistic at birth, female, premature, underweight, anemic, neonatal, death. I was given only 72 hours to live. No doctor wanted to waste an incubator on a dying baby, but because they did, I am a nutritionalist today. So we teach you a lot on the branding and storytelling, which is such an important part, because when we talk in the third person, she likes this, etc., we remove a lot of who we are, our personal brand. So the colors that we choose to put on our background, and your headline is incredibly important. So how do you go about doing all of that? So I'm only going to take 5 minutes to share with you. If I can just stop sharing and reshare. This is the last screen I will share. I find that the typical approach that most job seekers take is literally using one CV, which is predominantly analog. When you click and apply, it is application tracking tools that read your CV. So what we do is we create a profile that is 80% keyword match, and I'll explain. Most of our strategy is reactive. We read job titles, we go online, and I'm not saying don't go online, but if you create your automated messages on LinkedIn, your job search, what you are looking for jobs, a lot of that will come in. I want you to manage careers are lives. Careers are lives. So if we cannot manage our career reactively, by the time a job has come online, we don't know exactly where potentially in the phase, in the process it actually is. And the idea is to create, as I said, a brand, a value add, putting your articles out so that people know who you are, not just what you've done. And then what we also do is we believe that it's just HR and recruiters that are there to find us a job. There's no issue in approaching recruiters and HR, but you should do that when there is an active live role. Otherwise, I recommend that you literally go to your future hiring manager, because they will be able to go through your skills in a way that a HR person or recruiter cannot. Also, a lot of us use our network, but what we do is we use our offline network. I'm not saying there's anything wrong, but because we are in a globalization, your location is no longer important. You can be based in Kenya, working for clients in Melbourne, one client in Johannesburg, one client in Lagos. So because of that, that's why it's important to have your online network. This is really critical, and that's what we do. Now, when it comes to digitization, what is important to understand is this. When a recruiter searches for a profile, we search via hard skills, but we hire via soft skills. What do I mean by that? I'm never going to search for keywords like passionate, motivated, driven. I'm going to search for things like budgeting, forecasting, Hootsuite, content writing. So the digitization, the way we do it is basically I'm offering all of you guys a free match rate report today. What you need to do is send us an email. I'll share the details. You can either send us your LinkedIn or you can send us your CV. But what we want to ask you is to send us a comprehensive job description, the job that you are looking to attract. And what we will do is we are literally going to send you a scan, which is what we call here we go, if I can share, a match rate report. A match rate report looks like this. It will tell you, and we've tested hundreds and hundreds, and I'll tell you that almost everybody does not have even a 20% keyword match. So when you click and apply and you get frustrated, it's because you don't have the right keywords. So the matrix test, this match rate test, will really kind of tell you what are you missing compared to the job description. It will tell you really quite a substantial amount, including things like, procurement is produced or is repeated 12 times in the job description, but only once in your profile. Compliance appears 5 times in the job description, but does not appear in and we make sure that we 80% keyword match. So if you can, please send us your profile so that at least we can send you this particular share. And then what we do is, since of course we've started, since Corona has happened, what JstWork has done is moved all of our career development online. And what we have essentially is, it's all online. It's 4 sessions of 2 hours each. We run 1 program every month. And the first session, what we do is we look at LinkedIn posting. We look at personal branding. After this session, you'll be able to create a full content for a month of what you are going to post, how are you going to use your hashtags, your how are you going to bring the right eyes, and a lot to do is with personal branding. I take a holistic approach to careers. So I'm going to get you to complete a 1, 3, 5 year plan. Instead of you clicking and applying to see what's happening, I want you to be a career driver. Each job leads you to the next platform. So if you don't have a clear guideline of where your arrow is aiming, then it becomes a lot more difficult to create really strong career path planning. Then session 2, it's a working session. This is where we actually do all of your LinkedIn. We go through update. You leave this 2-hour session with your LinkedIn completed. And then the third session is, this is my favorite. We read too much into job description. We don't understand how to select a future employer, the size of a company, how they're structured, especially the new industries. They have completely different employee organization structure. The traditional, HR, finance, legal, these are also changing substantially. So here I'm going to show you how to manage your career proactively, how to build on your LinkedIn, the searching, how to engage with the right stakeholders. Literally here we do everything on about how do I select my future company and how do I use LinkedIn and other platforms to research them thoroughly. And then the final session that we do is interview and salary negotiation. Here really is about preparing for an interview. We talk about what are the meaning behind the questions, what are the first, second, third panel interviews, really how do you position yourself. And for me, positioning is this. It is not your skills, but what your skills do. If you were a hand cream, what most of us as job seekers do is start listing what is in the hand cream. No. When companies sell the hand cream, they tell you the value that the hand cream is going to do for you. So this is what we focus a substantial amount on. And this is the final slide. Please send us, as I said, Elizabeth will be the main point of contact for you. Hello at JstWork, should you want a matrix test. So please just follow up, and that's it from my end. I think I will leave that here. And Elizabeth, do we have any questions that are coming up?
Yes, we had one question that was targeted towards Stuart, and the question was this: when it comes to the headline, how do I write a headline if I'm not looking for a job and I don't want the people in my company to know that I'm looking, that it's not obvious that I'm looking for my next job? How do you not show that you're looking for a job, but you're looking for a job on the platform to your current employer?
Okay, Natalia, can I get to share my screen again?
Yep. Here you go.
Can everybody see my screen?
Sharing. Not yet.
Okay.
Can you share it one more time?
Let me do it one more time. And I'm sharing.
Perfect. There's another question here. Can you talk a little bit about the value on LinkedIn Premium as well?
Super. Can you see my browser?
Yes, we can see your screen clearly now.
Okay, super. So if you can see my browser, I just want to draw your attention specifically to when you look at someone's profile, where you can go in and find in that kind of information that you asked about. So on your profile, like we said, you've got rich media that you can associate and have featured. And what I've done for you guys is that if you should lose this recording or lose this presentation, you can always go back to my LinkedIn profile and you'll find that the tips I've shared are available for you on my profile as featured articles. So if you're an executive and you're trying to start the journey of sharing content on LinkedIn, how to create your voice, and how not to come across like you would come across in other platforms. So the language we use on Instagram, Facebook, and other platforms that are social media is not the same language we would use on this professional platform. So you will find that I've put in an article which helps you quickly page through and find how to create your voice as a leader and what type of content you should be looking to share. I've also gone in and put in my profile, as you can see here, attachments that will help speak to the story of what I'm doing as a professional and also the services and the things that I can offer a person. So there are many ways for you to share your story beyond just words and text. We can use rich media, you can use attachments, you can use images to help tell that story. Natalia.
Another question for Stuart.
Yeah.
In terms of job title.
Sorry, just before I go into that, I was going to finish off by saying, in terms of finding how to search for a job without your boss thinking you're looking for a job, I've had this, if I had $1 for every time, or shilling, every time someone asked me this question, I'll be retired. So here's how easy it is. Go onto my profile, go into my articles that I've created, and you'll find that if you scroll down, I've written personal articles, professional articles. Like I said, articles stay with your profile. So for example, what recruiters look for when they attract and shortlist, I interviewed a gentleman called Oz at LinkedIn who works with recruiters. So he shared with us some insights on what recruiters specifically look for. So you'll find it. To show you, you'll find there'll be a short article, and at the same time, there will be a link to where you can find the video. How do I edit my profile without my boss knowing that I'm searching for a job? It's right here. I wrote an article on the February the 10th. Over 1,000 people have read this article. And like I said, always mind the data to understand where are these people coming from? Who are they? Where do they work? What kind of roles do they have? Which locations, and how my article is being found. Like I said, articles are the best way for you to reach the worldwide audience. And here's something else that you should monitor. Like I said, LinkedIn is not a popularity contest. If it was, I would be concerned about the number of reactions and the number of comments per article. I am more concerned about the number of reshares. Reshares are powerful. It means people believe in your message. It means that people want to share your message with networks that you would have never had access to. So try and make your articles educational and articles that can be reshared by other people so that you expand your network. So that would be my tip in terms of how do I edit my profile and make sure that my boss doesn't know about it. And just here's a pro tip. Let me tell you, like I said, in your career settings, you have the opportunity to say you're open for new roles. As long as the recruiter in your company is associated with the same company as you are, they won't be able to see it. only external recruiters, third party or other companies where recruiters have the recruiter license, they'll be able to see your information. So that's another way to safeguard it. But go and have a look at this article here. It gives a world of tips of what you can do in terms of your privacy settings and your updates, and of course, personalizing your job search.
Can I ask a question now from the audience?
And if you've got any questions that you would like to ask.
Hi, Natalia.
Hi.
This is Byron. I'm the one who posted there asking Stuart to just talk a little bit about the premium account.
Yes.
And thank you guys for putting this together. Thank you.
Fantastic.
All right.
Thank you.
Super. I love that. So when we talk about premium, there's a couple of ways that we can experience it. The first way, like we said, is, let's say, for example, I was looking for a job and I was interested in working for LinkedIn. If I typed in LinkedIn, there's certain insights I will get about LinkedIn that no one else will. So first of all, everyone gets to see a little bit about the organization. Everyone gets to understand the geographical location and where offices exist for the company. Like I said, the superpower is looking at the live portion, because this tells you a bit about the culture. So we've got a great video here that tells you about coming to work in Dublin, which is our headquarters for EMEA and LATAM. And then you get to see some of the content that's being shared by our employees, so that you can see what is the tone, the culture, and what's happening in our organization. So go and have a look. It'll tell you who are the business leaders. They'll have a couple of videos and anchor points that'll be interesting. And then you see some behind the scenes footage from LinkedIn. So when we come to premium, first of all, when we go into jobs, if I was to open up jobs on LinkedIn and I saw this media solutions job and I was to click on it, I would get the standard information that all of us get when we're looking at that data. However, because I have a premium account, as you can see here outlined by the gold, when you have a premium account, it tells you that, hold on a second, you are within the top 10% of 241 applicants based on what you've got on your LinkedIn profile. So if I was in the job market, I would then use this as a motivation to know whether to apply or not to apply. It looks and matches my current role, my skills, my experiences. It shows me the critical skills of the top 10 skills they're looking for, which ones I have and which ones I need to work on. So that can inform my learning, or that can inform how I update my profile in terms of what's missing. What's more, it gives me a view of the seniority level of people that have applied for this job and how many have applied. It gives me an indication of the types of skills and educational background they have invested in to apply for this job. So I'm getting all this situational intelligence that stops me from being a chancer when I'm applying for jobs, but makes me more intentional in terms of my applications, because I can see where these applicants are coming from. Like I said, it's a global market. So you're not just competing with the people you used to see in the hallway, you're competing with people that are working remotely. And as you can see, this job has got applicants from around the world. The other thing with premium is that it's going to also give you insights into that organization. What is its hiring trend? How many people do they have? Has there been growth, or has certain jobs risen in terms of the hiring that they've had? You also get to understand the medium term of people working in that organization. So you can understand the retention strategy or the next place strategy that they offer their employees. What's more, if you really want to work for LinkedIn, they give you insights here in terms of where they've been sourcing talent, which companies they've been hiring from, and where do these people get their education. So by investing in premium, as you can see, you're getting a wealth of information in terms of who this organization typically hires and where they typically come from. There's additional company insights you can get when you've got the premium account, and you will see these by seeing the gold, premium, and then of course, it's showing you additional insights of who's the person who's hiring, who are the people who are currently in those roles, who's the notable alumni that you are connected with that have worked in that organization so that you can reach out to them. And of course, in terms of job openings, one needs to know what is the trend in terms of that organization's hiring. So what you get with Premium is what have they hired in the last 3 months, which roles, 6 months, and of course in the last 12 months. So you can be more intentional about how you go about your job search. What's more, as I mentioned, you get access to LinkedIn Learning. So is it a bright investment? I would think so, if I want to make my search faster and smarter. Like we said, based on LinkedIn data, those who apply first are likely to be hired. Those who leverage their networks for recommendations and connections and endorsements and referrals are more likely to be hired. So with all this situational intelligence, because we live in an era of data, are you making data your core focus in terms of your job search? Are you investing in yourself to gain the skills that are missing in your profile? Give that a thought as you decide whether to go for LinkedIn Premium or not. The choice is yours ultimately.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that, Stuart. I've got another interesting question actually, and I endorse this. So the question is I've discovered that LinkedIn has commenced to have several unprofessional profiles and gradually transitioning to take the shape of Facebook, Instagram, and other social life platforms. Are there any measures that have been put in place to sustain the professionality of this platform? I'm afraid that with time, it might turn into a more of a social platform rather than a professional platform. And I have definitely noticed that recently. People sharing content that is, here's a clip from my wedding, or, here's something. I mean, I think you can use LinkedIn to do funny quotes, motivational quotes, but not, Stuart, over to you. What measures are being taken? How do we remove these profiles, that are just inappropriate for a professional platform?
First of all, if we're talking about an individual, what you can do is, of course, if I go over to your profile, I can come over here, do a couple of things with your profile. Ultimately, I can unfollow you and you will be none the wiser so that I stop receiving your content. I can go further and remove you as a connection so that I stop receiving your content, sorry. I can then go further and report you to LinkedIn if the content is offensive or the language or the tone is threatening. We can report that each as members. Same thing applies if you find a profile that is not a genuine representation of a colleague or a professional. So report those in. It's a self-governing environment. We count on you, our members, to inform us when you see something that's not right. What's more, when we've got content that's coming into our feed, if we find that that content is not helping us, again, by clicking on these 3 buttons, I have the option to, first of all, hide a post that keeps showing up. I can report a post that's offensive, or if I believe that an account has been hacked, or I can improve my personal feed by choosing some of the sources to follow in terms of the hashtags. And as you can see here on my profile, here's some of the hashtags that I follow, that I've accessed, the groups that I participate in, the events that I've registered for, and hashtags that help drive the content that I experience on LinkedIn. And as I said, it's not a popularity contest. So if we do receive messages that are funny or that are personal on our WhatsApp, LinkedIn is your professional brand. The internet doesn't forget. So what we share matters. If you're posting your wedding photograph and there's a lesson to be learned from a professional perspective, then it pays to share it. But if you're posting it for vanity, then it's not a good thing. I say with content that you post out on LinkedIn or any other social media, if you really and truly want to be successful, when it starts being about you, when it starts being about you as a person, then you've lost the plot. It should be about your audience. What are you educating them on? What are you coaching? What are you inspiring? What are you showing them is an easy thing to do with limited resources? That's how you grow your social leadership, by teaching and being able to be taught.
I actually really want to underline this point, Stuart. I found that people, once they have fully understood the art of posting, they call me in shock. I have been headhunted 3 times in one day, and this is the result. I cannot emphasize enough. If you start posting and really building your LinkedIn, I guarantee, corona or no corona, you will be bringing so much traffic and careers will come to you. Headhunters will come to you. So you don't even need to put on there, I'm looking for a job or open for opportunities. Just start putting the value. As I said, the first session that we do in the masterclass series, we actually build a full month posting content. So come and join us. We'll show you how to use the @ how to use the hashtag and the keywords, etc. Yeah.
And start interacting with other people's content. So if you're struggling with how to start posting, etc., how to frame your words, how to use hashtags, how to be factual, how to grab attention, if you're struggling with that, always go back to your LinkedIn feed, right? And have a look at the content that's out there that other people are posting and the content that's really doing well. Let's have a look, okay? We're just gonna take a quick squeeze here. And let me find one that's doing well. This one has had 43 people interacting with it. It's got a picture that is not picture perfect. It's got a photograph of certain people, which means this person has been able to engage a network outside of their own. They've made reference to Jeff Weiner, of course, the CEO of LinkedIn right now. So obviously that also draws attention to it. And they've used a few hashtags to talk about or to centralize the message that they had. They've made reference to a couple of people. And what's more, what you can do now is if this content speaks to your industry, if this content speaks to a network that you want to have access to, click on those 3 buttons or the number of people, then start looking and say, the people who have interacted with this content, I can see only 3 are in my first degree network. The remaining are not connected with me. And here's the thing why I was saying photographs matter. So if you see a profile that doesn't have a photograph, you're more likely to want to know more before connecting, but that could be a privacy setting. So when you look and you see some of the people that are there that have interacted with this content, you can then now purpose to click, look at the person's profile, click to connect, and write a note why you'd like to connect up with them. So be intentional, interact with other people's content that's successful out there, and that will help grow your network and help you develop your own voice on top of what Natalia and the team are going to be doing in teaching you to start posting.
I would love to add one final part. When it comes to your LinkedIn profile, you have to identify what I call your tree trunk. When you have your tree trunk, you will then have branches that come from it. The way to build your brand is not just through authenticity and storytelling, but it's to be both strategic and consistent. So let's say that you are a CFO, you are a chief financial officer. I can tell you what are your 5 pillars. As a CFO, you are a people manager, 1. As a CFO, you must know ERP, technology, anything else. As a CFO, you must know governance, risk, compliance. As a CFO, you must know how to do tax, etc. So when you are posting, you are always posting within your pillars so that you are creating that thought leadership and that brand. So, you know, we all have that one person on Facebook that is always posting either baby pictures or dogs or politics, whatever it may be. I want you to be like that on LinkedIn. If today you take somebody's post and you share about, you know, child protection, and then tomorrow you are talking about AI and blockchain, you can potentially also be confusing your audience. So this is why I talk about not just the importance of posting. If you don't post, you don't get nothing. And this is a phenomenal platform. It will bring so many opportunities, so many opportunities for you. So the branding, the posting, exactly. I mean, I appear, I will have anything between, say, 2,500 to 5,000 people on a weekly basis that will look at my profile, I will appear anything between 1,000 to 3,000 searches on a weekly basis, and I will have over 100,000 views. Forget my posts are reshared. And what is it that I do? I know my audience, they are looking for value. They want to know why their application does not work. So you need to know, your future hiring manager, what value can you give them? So by writing articles of your knowledge and your content, this is when you set up to become a thought leader. So that anytime somebody thinks, oh, a career development, they'll think Natalia JstWork immediately, because I have been only posting about that. I've not posted about other things. Yeah.
And the other thing I just wanted to say is use the data, guys. Leverage the data to understand what's working. And as I said earlier on, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So it takes time to build up that followership. You need to be consistent. You need to develop that content calendar, which Natalia is talking about helping you with. And if you go in terms of your data, dig deeper, just click on it to see what LinkedIn tells you. So it tells you how often people are engaging with your content, so that you can identify the high peak points and ask yourself, by going back into that week, what is it that I did that got people to start looking at that particular content or looking at my profile? It gives you an idea also of the people that have been looking at your profiles. And why I asked to speak right now was to say that sometimes you'll find that it just says a person at company X was looking at your profile and they have the title recruiter. That means recruiters have the opportunity to look at your profiles, maybe the future talent pooling, or they're looking to reach out to you. It doesn't necessarily mean there's a job today. So don't get frustrated. Our recruiters have the opportunity to hide their profiles so they can get about doing their work without people reaching out to them. You can also go into a tab which shows you the sort of interesting views that have come in from your network by telling you things like, this person works at this university or a company that you follow. It gives you associations. My friend Daniel that I used to work with at Oracle is currently watching this. So hi Daniel, hi Michael, and everybody else. Hanifa, anybody else who's watching this from Oracle. The other thing we get to see is, of the people that are looking at me, which is the highest peak of organizations that are looking at me. So this happens to be a company in Durban. Today I'm doing a talk with you, but a company in Durban called RCL Foods, and I hope they're watching the stream, are on the stream. So all of my friends at RCL, thank you very much. I see you looking at my profile. It tells you people, your peers that look at your profile. And that's the other thing that I said, don't forget, when you post, look at your own employees, your own colleagues as people that can amplify your message. So if your colleagues are looking at your post, ask them to reshare, ask them to comment, ask them to pass them on to other people. It then goes into a little bit more detail, as you can see, about the titles that people have, how people found me. This is such a powerful one. So if people have found me on the home page, they've searched for me.
And this is exactly every step that we cover in our workshop. Every single aspect, including getting all of your skills and endorsements cleaned up, groups, we do absolutely everything. And I will tell you, I've had people who have had hundreds, literally thousands of connections, and they said, I know LinkedIn. And then they attended the workshop and they said, oh wow, both the, so yeah, fantastic.
Please come up with the help here. There is a place where you can actually share that content, and we can make this a better product for all of us.
Fantastic. We have people from UK, Kenya, South Africa, Uganda.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I think we went quite over. The majority have stayed with us, which is fantastic. So as a follow-up, guys, we've got all of your emails because you've registered. What we will do is we'll download this video and upload it and send you the link. If you are interested in anything else, we'll just share a few more information about how JstWork can support you. And by the way, guys, every Wednesday, we have a Wednesday webinar. So the next session will be run with Sarah Richson. I will share some more information. And this is really to run how to manage remote workers, especially in Kenya, for those who are not used to it. As again, I'll share more information. Stuart, I cannot thank you enough. I feel fully linked in today. I feel the value you've added has been phenomenal, and I'm sure that lots of people will come and read the articles. We will actually take a couple of the articles from your and put it on the email that we'll send out so people can really capture it. Otherwise, thank you very, very much to everyone who has taken the time to attend. Thank you so much, Stuart. And yeah, have a wonderful rest of the Wednesday.
That's it. Thank you very much, everyone who joined, and thank you, Natalia.
Pleasure. Thank you so much. Thanks to Elizabeth as well for organizing everything. Have a great day, guys. Look forward to speaking.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you, awesome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Natalia.
You're very welcome, Tony. Very welcome. Good to see you.
Yes, bye.
How do you end?
I'm going to end the meeting. I'm going to end the meeting for everybody.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, if you're still on the call, there's one question about if I'm not looking for a job, then you need